Hello and welcome back, IYE fans. It's your boy Buck. It's been a while, but football season is on the horizon. I know we are all just itching for this thing to kick off. It's late July and training camps are in full swing. So I am here to give you guys a little preview or a little recap into the Chargers off-season progress, or in some areas, lack thereof. So yeah, man, I'm excited. Hopefully everyone else is excited. Some big changes. Obviously the main one being our head coaching position. We made a major upgrade there. Obviously, we went from basically being on the edge of extinction to, as our new head coach, Jim Harbaugh, put it, being born again. Brandon Staley, adios, buddy. But you basically analyze yourself out of a job over the past few seasons, just took took charging to a whole new level. And that's saying a lot given what we've been through or put ourselves through over the past few decades, sadly to say, decades. Um, you know, this fan base has endured a lot, and we deserve this. We deserve a guy like Harbaugh. Comes in fresh off a national championship with Michigan, and not only does he bring in a winning mentality, but he also brings in like a way of life, like a culture along with him. And there's just some people who just bring it, man. And they don't hold back. They are who they are in any situation, and they embrace whatever comes their way, whether it's good or bad. And I really respect people like that. And Harbaugh is just someone that makes you want to be around them. And it looks like the players, have embraced him, and they're really enjoying this challenge together. And there was a discussion on Undisputed recently. Someone had mentioned that Harbaugh's enthusiasm would basically fade away if the Chargers didn't live up to their expectations. I mean, that's fair to say, because that would be the case for most people. But then Keyshawn had stepped in and said, he disagrees and he believes that, and I believe he's right. He reassured the panel that Harbaugh just is who he is, and he will remain who he is throughout the season, regardless of how things go. And some people are just built to endure, built to inspire, and it's just simple as that. And that's part of what separated him from the pack in the first place. I mean, there aren't too many coaches who has had a great level of success in the NFL. Although he did not win the Super Bowl, he did get there, which was a weird game, as we all know. Lost to his brother, the Ravens, back then. So he's been out for a while, about 11 years, been out of the NFL. But we've all welcomed him in with open arms. So is the media. He's embraced the media. He's embraced the players. He's embraced this challenge. And, but basically you have to give him props for, what he did in Michigan, what he's done in the NFL. And it's not something you see too often. And, but basically comes in with a touchy situation. Some holes to fill, some holes he did fill. So moving on to that situation, the boat stormed into the season down two Pro Bowl wideouts in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. And Keenan Allen himself was coming off one of the better years he's had recently, or maybe if not his best season. I mean, just look at the tape, look at the stats. It's all there. Mike Williams, good when healthy, but not dependable enough to really feel too bad about losing him. I believe if Quentin Johnston does make a leap, he can fill that spot that Mike Williams occupied. But still, we got other guys we can rely on, like DJ Chark. We added Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. He and Justin Herbert have looked like they've grown some chemistry throughout the offseason. I'd imagine McConkey's role to be similar to like what Julian Edelman's was with Tom Brady in New England, just to take off like some of that, weight when he's under pressure, just, make those quick dump offs, because with Eckler gone, like that certainly leaves a void in those situations. And speaking of running backs, we also got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, added them to the backfield. And these guys are definitely good at what they do, but the problem is their health. Gus Edwards did manage to stay healthy last season, um, racked up 13 touchdowns, was healthy, like I said, and there's no reason to expect that he won't be this season. But given that he had tore his ACL back in 2021, there's always going to be concerns with health and availability. But given that they are healthy, or at least one of them, I believe that puts us in a better situation, especially in short down situations, like short yardage situations where it's third, fourth down, and we can't pick up 2 yards with Eckler. I mean, the guy, typically, we would call him a gadget back, but now we got some ground and pound guys that should be able to pick up those yardage. Especially, we've added Joe Alt in the draft, huge guy, should definitely improve the offensive line, but still, I don't want to get too excited about that line. A lot of moving parts, some players that still have to prove some things. We lost Corey Linsley, so we got a new center. We got Pipkins out there still. It's something we got to watch. But ultimately, we want to get over that goal line, and we have two guys that can do it. And not to mention, also, like, we did not have any production from our second back for a long time, not like when we had Tomlinson with Michael Turner or Sproles. So now that we have that, it's going to be nice to see, how we fare in those short yard situations. So moving on to the defense, we still have Joey Bosa. I'm a little bit on the fence about that. He hasn't been healthy in a while. Just can't seem to make it through the entire season. I mean, and he costs us some yards, let's just say that, if not some games, with his reactions or overreactions on the field. Like when a guy gets frustrated, he's throwing helmets, and he's put us in some bad spots. And not that I want him going, but I want him healthy, and I want him to be able to control himself in situations where he has failed to in the past. I mean, I know how it is. You do bonehead stuff in the midst of things, but this is sports. But outside of that, I definitely understand how he could feel. But it's more people, it's players, it's a Super Bowl that is at stake here, and so hopefully he can get that right, get motivated, stay healthy, stay in the gym, and be that player we all know he can be. But if not, the good thing is we retained Khalil Mack. The guy was a beast last year. I mean, 17 sacks in total. There were some serious but fair doubt cast on his future, or whether he'd be able to produce at a high level again, given his age and his injury history. And he showed us that he could. And I would expect. I'm not saying I expect 17 sacks into him to mirror what he did last year, but there's no reason to believe he can't have a great season. So staying up front, we also got Denzel Perryman back, who really had his best years after he left the Chargers. So I think that's one of the more underrated additions that we made this offseason, if not one of the more underrated additions that anyone's made offseason, realistically, given the fact that we had Kenneth Murray in there just lost. And, I just really have some high expectations for Perriman. It's flown under the radar, but I think he'll be able to stand out with Harbaugh there. And moving on, our star, God bless him, Derwin James. He's been giving Harbaugh a lot of praise, and just the other players in the new look Chargers. And it just seems like Harbaugh's presence is already just getting these guys excited, ready to embrace the challenge, especially after a tough year. James didn't exactly have like that Derwin James type season, you know what I mean? But that still is better than most players in the league. This upcoming season, I do expect him, I ain't gonna say rebound, but to have one of those, highly productive years like we've seen in his rookie years and a few other years. I really do expect that, especially with, I think, Adderley going, I believe. Gilman's probably a better fit given the system, and Gilman is a hard worker and is able to make plays. My only concern is the cornerback position, which is a big question mark to me. And kind of like the offensive line, going to have to prove something, before I get excited or get gassed up about that group. Um, but from the reports in camp, Cam Hart has been making some noise. His great size, making ability. Coaches talked him up, players have talked him up, so that's a good sign. But like I said, I have to see it on the field, in live game action before I buy in. Because I was watching this guy break down a catch that Quentin Johnson made, and it really seemed like that catch was enough for this guy to believe that Quentin Johnson made some type of serious turn. And I'm like, dude, like it's one catch. Like, let's look both ways before, we cross the street, my guy. So I mean, that's most of what the Chargers have accomplished over the last few months. See improvements, see some regression. I mean, but that comes with everything in life. It's just we now have a coach in Harbaugh who has basically made a living off of getting the most out of his players and staff. He's bringing a new feel to the organization, and me personally, I mean, I'm loving it. I'm just happy to have a guy who's comfortable being himself, someone who is engaged with the players, engaged with the staff, and even engaged with the media. I mean, Harbaugh just looks like he's enjoying it, like he loves life. The players seem to embrace his energy, and I just honestly hope our boat family can just have an enjoyable season where we aren't crushed by traumatizing losses. And I hope everyone is just as excited as I am for the upcoming season. Um, I will be making it out to a few games, most likely Pittsburgh and Carolina. So hopefully I will get some content there and share some of my experience. I do hope to make it out to LA for my first Chargers home game. I did go to my first Chargers games last year when they visited the Meadowlands and played the Jets, but I bought those tickets um, thinking Aaron Rodgers would be there, and we all know how that played out. So that experience didn't go as I planned it. Um, but the Chargers did go on to have one of their better games of the year. We really put everything together in that game versus the Jets. So who knows? Maybe it was me. um, but no, thank you guys for tuning in. It's your boy Buck at HU Entertainment. And till next time, we'll see you soon. We got so much to talk about. Just looking forward to everything. Appreciate you guys, and peace.